Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really focusing in on how you can hit your SAT goals.
Hmm.
We've looked at advice from a top SAT tutor trying to boil it down to a clear strategy.
Exactly.
The aim is to help you feel prepared, confident, without just feeling overwhelmed by endless prep work.
Yeah, cutting through the noise, really. We want actionable stuff, things you can actually do that make a difference.
Okay, let's dive in. Step one seems to be assessment. This tutor's pretty insistent. Start with an official digital SAT practice test. Why there? Why first?
Well, think of it like getting a map before a journey. That first test. It's your personal SAT map.
Okay.
It's not just about getting a score. It shows you pretty clearly where your strengths are, but maybe more importantly, where you're actually losing points.
Right, in both math and the reading and writing sections.
Exactly, both. And definitely hold on to those results. You need that starting point, something real to measure your progress against later on.
Got it. So you take the test, you've got this baseline score. What's the immediate next move? How do you figure out where to, focus your energy?
So now you put on your detective hat,
Uh-huh.
basically. You need to dig into those results. Don't just glance at the big number.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the details. Which specific question types tripped you up? Was it geometry? Certain grammar rules?
Yeah.
Spotting those patterns in the areas where you struggled, that's key. It identifies your specific gap areas. And honestly, that saves you so much time later.
Yeah.
You're not just studying everything randomly.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Avoids wasted effort. So we know where we stand, we know the weak spots. How do we translate that into a solid goal?
Right. Setting a goal is, well, it's crucial, but it can't just be vague, like, I want to do better.
Sure.
It needs to be realistic and measurable, something concrete. Maybe you're aiming for, say, a 1350 or higher. That's specific.
Yeah.
And sometimes a big goal like that feels daunting. A tutor can really help here, breaking it down into smaller wins, like SMART goals,
Right.
specific, measurable.
Achievable, yeah.
Exactly. Thinking about what specific things you need to do each week, maybe, to edge closer to that bigger target score.
Breaking it down definitely helps it feel less overwhelming. Okay, timing. This is always a big question. When should you actually start the studying process?
The simple answer is really as early as you reasonably can,
Mm-hmm.
ideally. You want to have a consistent study plan going, maybe 3 or even 4 months before your test date.
Wow.
Yeah, that kind of timeline gives you room to breathe. You can properly revisit those focus areas you found, build up skills gradually, and importantly, avoid that last-minute cramming disaster.
Right. The all-nighters probably don't help much.
They really don't.
Yeah.
And again, finding a tutor can be helpful here too, just to guide you, make sure you're practicing effectively, mastering the right skills.
Makes sense. It's definitely more of a marathon, not a sprint approach. What about mindset? The tutor mentioned keeping a positive attitude. How important is that, really? Oh, it's huge. Absolutely crucial. You genuinely have to believe that you can improve, that you can reach your goal if you put in the necessary steps.
So self-belief.
Yeah, and trying to maintain that positive outlook throughout. Celebrate the small wins along the way. And look, setbacks happen. You'll have off days or tough practice sets. The key is seeing them as temporary, learning from them, and just getting right back on track quickly. Don't let them derail you.
That's a really good way to frame it.
Yeah.
Okay, on the flip side, are there things this tutor warns against? Like common mistakes people make, things to actively avoid doing?
Oh, definitely. A few big ones. Inconsistency is probably number one. They actually called it ghosting your studies.
Yeah.
Starting strong, then just fading out.
Yeah, I can see that.
Also, completely forgetting about those focus areas you identified right at the start. What was the point of the assessment if you ignore it, right?
Yeah.
And then there are practical things, like maybe don't plan a big vacation the week before your SAT. And seriously, prioritize sleep, especially in the run-up to the test. Your brain just works better when it's rested. Lack of sleep is a real performance killer.
All sound advice. Seems obvious, but easy to forget.
Yeah.
And the last point was about distractions, right? Life is full of them.
It really is. You've got your regular schoolwork, maybe AP courses, sports, clubs, social life. It all competes for your time and attention.
For sure.
So you have to be kind of intentional about reducing the unnecessary noise, the distractions you can control, just so you can stay focused and actually make your study time count.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the core strategy here, it sounds like. Start with assessment, really understand your weak spots, set clear, realistic goals.
Measurable ones.
Right. Start studying early, be consistent, keep that positive mindset going.
Believe you can do it.
Avoid those common pitfalls like inconsistency or ignoring your plan, get enough sleep. and actively cut down on distractions.
That sums it up perfectly. It's really about being strategic, being mindful about how you approach your SAT prep, not just throwing hours at it randomly.
Okay, so here's something for you, the listener, to think about. Considering all these steps, what's one small concrete action you could take today? Maybe it's just 5 minutes. Could you schedule that first practice test? Or perhaps just spend 5 minutes reviewing one type of math problem you know you struggle with.
Yeah, just one small thing.
Exactly. Start somewhere, anywhere. Stay focused on that goal, and you'll be moving in the right direction.